Hi, everybody, and welcome to Consciously Awakening Podcast Series, episode 14. Today we have Reaves, right? This is your name?
Yes,
What up?
Reaves.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment. And today we're going to speak about a lot of deep spiritual things like aliens, like interdimensional beings, and also our spiritual experiences, our personal spiritual experiences. And we will go deep into this type of topics because I find it interesting. And yeah, before recording, we were speaking about the dark side of Cupid, which is something really interesting. I think it happened to me. And I would also like to go into this and talk about interdimensional beings. So why don't you say how you're doing and what's up? So how are you doing?
All right, how's everyone doing? My name is Reaves. I'm here coming to you live from the States, Memphis, Tennessee, to be specific.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're here to talk about a lot of very interesting topics. I'm excited to speak on interdimensional beings, and one specifically, Cupid. And as he mentioned, that there is a potential dark side to this Cupid, and that he has experienced some behaviors, some attributes, some mannerisms that could behave as the dark side of Cupid. So I'm excited to get into this topic.
Yeah. I also want to speak about aliens and maybe ancient times. Maybe you have some knowledge on this, because I feel like the more that I raise my consciousness, the more that I go back to the ancient stuff, and it's the more that I get to channel my heart self, the more that I get to channel my spirit guides. But before starting, I want to ask you, how did you get on the spiritual path? What was your triggering? What was your experience like? What do you think made start your spiritual journey?
Okay. So just like many of us who have kind of gotten into this path or this journey, we were sometimes considered different than the rest of our society, the rest of our classmates, the rest of maybe our brothers and sisters. We were just a little different than everybody else. And being different, you tend to seek guidance or answers to why I may be different. And in my journey and my path, I've encountered many different things that help answer why am I different? And more specifically, what am I here to do being this different person? I'm not just supposed to be different. I'm supposed to be here and be different. So what am I doing here? So I've had very weird encounters, and it's interesting because I've thought of this recently. Like, many of us have probably gone through this spiritual journey and questioned it. Is this real? What am I experiencing real? Is what I saw real? Is what I'm thinking real? And I had to think about some quote unquote real experiences. And I was staying in a house, and I kid you not, I literally saw a gremlin, a goblin, a ghoul. This is no made up make believe, because my reaction was real. I can't necessarily say what I saw was real, but my reaction is real. Now, a little bit of my history, I've been around a lot of very wild things in life, come from a very violent neighborhood. So gun violence, shootings, loud sounds. So it takes a lot to startle me. So my girlfriend at that time thought something was wrong because I never get startled. And then my daughter was actually concerned as well because she saw that I was startled. So seeing their reactions and seeing their emotions, how I reacted to seeing whatever I saw, made me realize something I saw was real, or whatever just happened to me was real. So that was kind of weird because it looked like an evil Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I was like, what is this? So I ended up finding it in like a book. Not too long later, I kind of just kept questioning the universe, asking the universe, what was this? What is this? What was this? And basically some of the attributes was it was inverted. So basically, like, how we look like this? Well, it was like this. So basically it was in reverse, its body. It was really weird. So anyway, after experiencing weird thing after weird thing, a friend of mine ended up getting possessed and ended up channeling an interdimensional being.
Yeah.
And kind of started speaking to me through him. That was real. I took a sage known as Salvia Devenarum.
Yeah, yeah.
And it took me to what I call the animated world. And it's a world that can kind of seem like it's almost like drawn or cartoon or 3D like Pixar. Like it kind of looks like that. It doesn't look like how you and I look.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, I met this Cupid, Eros being, and had no clue what it was. So that kind of threw me off as well. So just numerous things happening, one after the other, and one after the other, and one after the other, and trying to go to other individuals to get answers, and realizing that they're just as confused as I am. I had to realize there has to be some other way of coming up with some information, some advice.
Yeah, so I think I felt the Cupid myself as well, and Eve Lorgan talks about it, and she talks about how it manipulates our emotional and sexual energy. And my sexual energy has been fucked up since I met this Cupid, you know. And I'm not sure how to deal with this. Should I embrace the being? Should I embrace these thoughts, or should I avoid them? Should I reject them? I'm not sure. I think it should be something like me purifying myself. I think that this is also really important to purify in the spiritual journey. And yeah, the Cupid is real, but it may also have a positive side. Who knows? But I kind of felt manipulated, and my thoughts felt a bit manipulated, and my energy was a bit fucked up in the last couple of years. It's like he's messing me for a while. And who do you think Cupid is? Is it an interdimensional being or what?
So many cultures have identified this entity Cupid as a heavenly being, or because in some cultures he's not of the heavens. Some cultures he's considered a nature being, and he protects the woods. Yeah, and he was giving arrows by his mother Artemis, in a sense. His mother, the goddess of the hunt, basically gave him this tool. Nevertheless, it's basically different cultures explaining about a being who is responsible for governing the desire of whoever he touches. So it's a story explaining possession. Where every time Cupid, Eros, Pan shoots his arrow, he is touching a soul or influencing a body. Or influencing the body specifically known as desire. Now, just like you said at the beginning, you feel like you've encountered the dark side of Cupid. That's the same thing as kind of saying you've encountered the dark side of desire.
Okay.
So I made desire water. I made desire water because I need it. Now, if I get enough water that I need in my body, I shouldn't desire it anymore. But you have some people who have mental deficiencies and don't listen to their body. Their body's saying, I have enough. But the mind is like, I need more, I need more, I need more. And there are actually people every single year that die from drowning themselves from too much water. This is a real thing. There's actually people in the life that consume too much water and die. So it's for you to be able to gauge your desires and to know the difference between a desire and a need. I desire to be reborn. So I may desire to have a son. But then what if I'm unhappy with that son? Oh, well, I may desire to have another son now, so I can be reborn. You know, it's a balance that we have to figure out how hold tight, how to govern, how to influence, because this desire can equate over to what we will call our wants and needs. And we have to really be in charge of our desires, because our desires signify or govern what we want and what we need.
Yeah, so it's like, sorry, go on.
So I personally believe that the gods of old have put themselves into behaviors or attributes. So I know that I come from a source that is a source that we could refer to as love. But that love then was broken up into subcategories or children. And one aspect of love is desire. Another aspect of love is touch. You get what I'm saying? So these are just different aspects of love. So I think her children, or the universe's children, is responsible for the subdivisions of love. And Eros, Pan, Cupid being one of these subdivisions of the universal love frequency.
Yeah, but you say it may be, a dark side of these desires. It may be having a negative influence on us because I don't know, I don't know if it's a dark side of our desires, right? The Cupid is a dark side of our desires. And how do we fix it? Well, we take control of ourselves and we take control of our desires.
So I think there's always a program or formula that we as humans can apply. So the formula that I've learned is that desire is associated, connected, or equal to what we are called wants and needs. And I don't believe one is above the other. I believe that what we want is important.
Yeah.
And what we want is sometimes negated. Like, I don't want to go to college, but they're telling me you need to go to college.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's the understanding the balance between wants and needs. And think of your desire as the equation. So say if you do want plus want equals desire, want plus need equals desire, need plus need equals desire. Like desire is the final product, but you gotta balance your wants and your needs. So I suggest an individual literally mapping out or writing out what their wants and what their needs are. And if you feel like something is deviating you or taking you off track of what you wrote you wanted or what you wrote you needed, then you know you're getting possessed. Then you know something else is now trying to take over your arrow.
So
now
it's
remember,
like
an arrow is a path. So don't let something take over your arrow, your path, your arrow.
So it's like when we get off track, it means that we are living in reverse, you know, and living in reverse is reversely is evil, you know, and this is how we get influenced in a negative way. And these interdimensional beings, I'm not sure what they are.
I'll help you understand. So you are an interdimensional being. And you are an interdimensional being because by the simple ideology, there's the word inter and dimension. Okay?
Yeah.
So you've decided to enter the dimension of your father.
What do you mean by this?
So your father is a dimension within himself. He has angles, he has length, he has width, he has depth. Your father is a dimension. He's actually three-dimensional. This is what we say, we're three-dimensional beings. So your father is a three-dimensional being.
Yeah.
And you decided to enter him. Now, many of us would say that's another representation of you choosing your parents. Some would say you've had the choice. You've had the decision to decide who you want to enter. It's kind of like if you have 100 worlds in front of you, and one world is a world that focuses on basketball, and that's what you love. You're going to choose the world of basketball. It's the same thing for your dad. You might have loved the way he thought. You may have loved his mustache and was like, I want that mustache. Different things. This is how desire actually goes into this as well. So there was something within your father you desired. There was something in your father you wanted or you needed. So you decided to enter your father. You are an interdimensional being. Oh. So the problem is when you've entered your dad, you forgot where you came from because you've chosen to enter your dad from scratch. Where some of these beings are entering people, full-on adults, fully conscious of themselves, where they come from. It's called possession. So some of them enter a dimension as well through possession. So you have two different interdimensional beings. You have child-like interdimensional beings, which is what we are, who have grown into adults. And then you have adult interdimensional beings. We call them gods. Now, do you get why they always show Cupid as a kid or a baby? Because it's always showing that's how he comes in. He starts from scratch. So it's kind of like a new era. This is also where the word arrow comes from. It's a new arrow. It's a new era. It's like a fresh start. So you chose to enter the body of Cupid. You've chosen to enter a timeline that an ancestor of you have done before. That, think of it, where in our past, we did not enter bodies as children or childlike entities. We only entered beings as adults. So imagine if we wanted to be an eagle and we are a consciousness, we would, as an adult consciousness, enter the eagle and then leave. Enter the elephant, leave. Enter the rhino extraterrestrial, then leave. Enter the bird, the avian, then leave. Enter the Pleiadian, then leave. Enter the Syrian, then leave. That was how we used to do it. But then there was one being that was defiant and was like, why do I have to bring my noise, my clutter, my baggage into this body? Is it possible for us to do this as a child? Is it possible for us to do this from scratch? So he kind of represents that. He kind of represents the void, the from nothing you can become anything. And I've also kind of explained this with that Franklin concept, that there is a childlike consciousness in the stars that doesn't want to grow up, that doesn't want to take on the weight and baggage of an adult.
Interesting. You know, interesting. And what do I do with this energy? Because I don't know, it feels like it has slowed down, but it also came after I have experienced some negative moments, some karmic moments, and I'm trying to forgive the experience. You know, I'm trying to forgive myself in the process. And what should I do? Should I integrate this Cupid, or should I avoid it? Should I reject it? What should I do with it?
So in the beginning stages of me understanding this energy, I allowed myself to be more influenced by it. And I became more sexual, and unfortunately had several abortions that I am not proud of. And those sacrifices, those children that sacrificed themselves for me to be able to learn this lesson, helped me realize that this Cupid, this Eros, this Pan energy, just really wants to understand love.
Yeah.
And it does not understand love outside of physicality, the physical touch of it. Kiss me, buy me things, show me how much you love me. You know, can you make me orgasm? Can you make it's narcissistic.
Yeah, yeah.
It is narcissistic. When I started to realize that I have a narcissistic child-like energy inside of me, and I look at it like an ancestor. I don't look at it as negative. I look at it as something that came before me. I realize that it's my job to teach it something new. For me to realize every single moment of my life, this deity, this being, this interdimensional being is observing, is watching how I'm going to handle my next love experience, how I'm going to handle next time someone hurts my heart, how I'm going to handle the next time anything associated to love is influenced. And that's what I want people to realize, that you have the control over you. This is your body, it's your rules. You get to define the rules that get presented into your body. And I think it's important for you to, yes, integrate it, but integrate it in the awareness that you are teaching it, that you are training it. That's like a dragon that's learning from you, so that you and it can come together and ride off like Avatar. That's how I look at it. Because it can fly, it could do supernatural things, it claims. So instead of using it to only produce more desires, I wanted to realize that it could even evolve beyond desire. And what I believe the evolution of desire is bliss. When you no longer desire anything else, I have everything. I'm at ease. I'm at peace. I have bliss. And that's another thing you want to help this entity or this being experience. Ease. And that anxiety, that feeling that sometimes you feel like you need to rush, or that I'm running out of time. You need to slow down. Breathe for a second. Know that that's that being as well.
Yeah. It's so interesting because there are so many things happening, and they are happening especially in the spirit world, you know. And me as a Scorpio, I'm super sensitive. I'm super sensitive to these things. I'm super sensitive to my thoughts. I'm very psychic in a way, you know. And I'm getting more and more psychic in my spiritual journey. And I'm trying as much as possible to understand what is going on also in the spirit world, you know. And I want to ask you about ETs and aliens. Do you think we have like ET family? And do you think our spirit guides are from Pleiades or Sirius? Or because I think I'm a Pleiadian and I'm Syrian. Someone told me, and I really resonate with this. So my question is, what is your perspective on ETs and spirit guides and aliens?
Okay, so many of us have heard the infamous phrase, the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
And these Anunnakis, for those who are kind of new, the Anunnakis were written about by Zachariah Stitchin, and he basically translated the Sumerian tablets. And on the Sumerian tablets, a group of individuals that come from near Iraq called Sumer, they spoke on these winged gods. And these winged gods are also talked about in the Bible. They're referred to as angels. And these winged gods came to earth and saw women fair and slept with them. Now, these winged gods, these Anunnaki, are not just males. These are males and females. These are males and females that chose to sleep with women on this planet. So there's lesbian interaction in this conversation. And of course, there are what we can call future beings. So imagine the Anunnaki. So imagine we are in the year 2022. And imagine if we were to get in contact with us from the year 10,000.
Yeah.
Future. This is very similar to what happened with the Anunnaki, or what the Bible is speaking on. It's basically beings from the future that slept with beings from the past.
How did they manage to do that? Is it possible to?
They had to take on a body. So it is theorized that these Anunnakis decided to faction different bodies that were able to sleep with the entities that were on this planet. Now, many theorize what were the beings on this planet. Just think of it more indigenous, but they're different complexions, heights, but just very of nature. They praise the earth and they praise the moon. These beings before the Anunnakis invaded Earth did not praise the sun. They were not sun worshippers on this planet.
Yeah, so just a second, bro. There's something appearing here that says that this meeting will end in 10 minutes. I think they only let us record for 40 minutes. Do you want to stop it and start again with another meeting? But we still have 10 minutes, so let's go. Let's keep going for 10 minutes, okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So these beings that dwelled on this planet did not praise the sun. They praised the moon and they praised nature. So they didn't come out during the day, if that's what you kind of want to think of it. These beings were not day beings. They actually dwelled in the night. So they saw in the dark. There's a lot of difference in what we are now compared to what we were. And it makes sense because life is about cycles. And if you notice, we are in what we call sun cycles. Our whole reality moves around the sun. The sun rises, we get up, you know, traffic starts populating. So same thing, but there was a time the moon was what motivated us or got us into motion. So the Anunnaki, being these sun worshipers, needed to have bodies that were conducive with what we'll call these moon walkers. All right. And this is important because Marvel just dropped a series called Moonwalker. And Moonwalker is basically explaining that there are what we call daytime deities and nighttime deities. All right. So what the Anunnaki decided to do was they decided to faction or create a body that they can possess. This is where they said that the Anunnaki came to Earth so that they can mine gold. But they don't realize that the gold is representation of illumination.
Yeah, but when did they want to mine gold? In what period of time? When did this happen?
They're not talking about physical gold.
Okay.
They're talking about semen.
Oh.
So they wanted to come to this planet so that they can possess a body or create a body or faction a body so that it can produce gold or semen, golden light. Now, this golden light created what you will call the Nephilim. This is also what we refer to as the giants, but these weren't real giants. Now, there are real giants, but this isn't what they're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Not in the timeline of the Anunnakis. This is why I'm keeping it specifically in the timeline of the Anunnaki. When they say they created giants, they're not talking about physical giants. They're talking about they created geniuses. They created people with giant intelligence, superhuman beings with superhuman intelligence that had the ability to reconfigure their genetic makeup and make them invisible, can make them fly. Their mental states were allowing them to do incredible things. But here's how. The Anunnaki did not take in consideration. It's the same thing for this. If I was a demon and I was to take over you, it's possible that I can give you the power of levitation. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Now, is it the demon that's giving you the power of levitation, or is it the demon that's reminding you that you can levitate?
He's probably reminding you, yeah.
So if he's reminding me, then there is information he's giving me to help remind my body. Now, the only reason why he levitates is because he comes from a world where he probably floats. He probably comes from a dimension where he does this all the time. So it's nothing to levitate. So my point is, if we were to engage with something 8,000 years more advanced than us, which is what the Anunnaki did, and put 8,000 years of consciousness inside of a body, a clone, a made up being, your mind is so powerful, it can remind that body of all that information.
Awesome. Yeah.
So then it shoots all that information out into a child. And now these children have 8,000 years worth of information stored within them.
Awesome.
This is called the secret bloodline, or the elite bloodline, that there are a race of humans that come from these Nephilim, that come from these super beings, that have the same level of intelligence in them now, if it could only be activated or triggered.
Awesome. Yeah, let's end this first recording and see you on the next one. I'm gonna send you the link, okay? Because there are like only 3 minutes left, so see you on the next one. All right. Okay, so yeah, we were speaking about the Anunnaki. Feel free to go on there.
For sure. So the Anunnaki basically created a secret bloodline that they can be able to activate at a past date. It's their past. Keep that in mind. It's our future. It's their past. And certain people are going to be activated in our future in correlation to the Anunnaki and what the Anunnaki represent. Now, the Anunnaki is what we would consider a royal family. They act very similar to how the royal family on this planet operates. You're not supposed to look at them in their eyes. You're not supposed to touch them. They don't walk on regular pavement. It's usually some type of rose, veil, cloth, fabric. So they're very, very regal in their sense. They hold themselves very high. They consider themselves, you know, the gods of old, but they're just one of the many different systems that we're dealing with. The Anunnaki does consist of multiple extraterrestrial types. So the humanoid comes in different forms. We would probably be like, I think, the 5th version of human. And they don't allow, well, our version of human hasn't been allowed into the Anunnaki. What we would consider the 3rd version of human would be Enoch, and Enoch was allowed to go with the Anunnaki. So he would kind of be considered the last version. The Anunnaki are not the Pleiadians. It's not the same thing. Now, the Anunnaki and the Pleiadians do work together. The Christ consciousness, of what we refer to as Christ, that we know in modern day times, and not the Panther Christ, is a Pleiadian. So there's like 2 Christs, but nevertheless, The Anunnaki is more like a reptile based family, but there are Lyrans or feline entities connected to them, and there are Carwin or bird like entities connected to them, but they are predominantly a reptilian species.
I see. Yeah, interesting.
But you have something older than them known as the Nomos, and or they're like a water being, and they are said to be kind of responsible for some of the karma that the Anunnaki are dealing with now. You have to also know about how possession works. So basically, energy has to go somewhere. So whoever the dominating force before the Anunnaki are not here anymore. They are actually inside of the Anunnaki now. So kind of think of it like that. The Anunnaki are now kind of being possessed by the overpower that came before them. But then you have something called a Galactic Federation. Now, the Galactic Federation involves all 5 forms of humans, many different branches of extraterrestrial beings. They're on some like humans need to evolve more, get more into love, tap into the love frequency before we can help them. Like they're kind of like that, but they're basically like a version of like Star Trek. That's probably the best way to explain that. And they're called the Galactic Federation, and they've communicated with Earth. They've had treaties with Earth since the 1950s. The Galactic Federation does consist of Pleiadians. It consists of many different Nordic beings. It consists of a lot of different factions. But they're the ones that are going to probably show themselves first. Many people are talking about Nebula or Planet X. That is said to be the home of one of the abandoned brothers of the Anunnaki. So some say that if that planet was to get close enough to Earth, that is then when the Anunnaki are going to show themselves.
Yeah, awesome. Wow. And yeah, I'm amazed by how you actually speak this information. And my question is, where do you get this information from? Do you channel it? And this is actually one of the topics of today, channeling. Or do you just read books, or both?
Well, I unfortunately come from a time frame where we don't have a lot of free time. So I didn't have the opportunity to develop the patience to read as a youth. It is something that I do consider valuable, but it's not something that I do currently. I've started more channeling and kind of allow myself to be multidimensional. To kind of realize that some of the things that I'm speaking on, or some of the things that you're experiencing, or some of the things that you think of that tap into different timelines are actually happening right now. They're happening literally as we speak. And you have the opportunity or chance to tap into it. If you allow yourself to tap into it. So that's simply what it is. It's just different streams of consciousness that I allow myself to tap into.
Awesome. And how do we do this? How do we tap into these ways of channeling? And who do we channel? Do we channel entities? Do we channel ETs? Do we channel what?
So people often use this term higher self.
Yeah, higher self.
But then I ask, well, then how high does your self go?
Yeah.
So what we're experiencing is 90% Anunnaki. 90% of the dramas, the stories, the wars, the tales, 90% of our experiences are remnants of these entities we can refer to as the Anunnaki. But what if you're older than the Anunnaki? What if you are the parents of the Anunnaki? Why not say you are the parents of the Anunnaki? You don't have the ability to define your own perception. So what I do is I try to go beyond so think of it like a father. Where a father has a son, And then that son has a son, and that son has a son, and that son has a son, and that son has a son. All right. So there had to be a starting point. So I look at myself as a starting point. I consider myself the starting point of all these different topics. That way, I don't get pulled into some of the complications of some of the children or some of my reflections. I kind of look at myself as the source. I go to my source self and don't get lost in the reflections. And it's easier for you to go to your source self by simply allowing yourself to trust. So I kind of consider it like floating. So it took me a while to kind of trust myself. So I would know I had a test and I would trust that I would get it right. Do you know how much trust you have to have in yourself at 10 years old to say, I'm not even going to study. I trust myself. Yeah. So I mean, this is a work in process. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have been developing what I call my muscle of trust. But basically, you have the ability of kind of like building a stronger relationship between your mind and your body. And that's really what you want to do. Build a stronger relationship between your mind and your body. So some things I tell people to do is like, imagine something and then go do it. So like I have a bottle of water here, all right? So I'm looking at it. I could imagine myself grabbing it and drinking it. And then right after I imagine it, I grab it. I drink it. Yeah. What you're doing is you're developing a gateway or a bridge of instant trust. Oh, whoa, your body's like, whoa, you just saw it and we made it happen? Wow, that was fast. And you can make it happen that fast. This is a part of, all right. So think of it like this. Your brain has all the information. It don't trust the body with it. Think of it like this. Your body has all the information, but it doesn't trust your brain with it. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I have both these gifts, my mind and my body. My body has all the answers. My mind has all the answers, but they don't trust each other with it. How could I fix that? And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at. It ain't even a matter of can I figure out extraterrestrials and channeling, and that just comes with it. You first want to develop a good relationship between your mind and your body, very simply. And develop exercises to do so. Yeah, it's interesting because I always felt like I wanted to channel, but yes, I received messages and I received thoughts that don't seem to be mine. And this may be a part of the channeling. I'm not sure who I'm channeling yet. But like I said, it's coming naturally, and we as spiritual beings, we all get these opportunities. And one thing that I also want to ask you is star seeds and indigo children and crystal children. What are they, and how are they influencing the planet at these times? Okay, so hold on, let me just make sure I get the 3 titles down. All right, we got star seeds, indigo children, and what was the last one? Crystal children. Okay. So I believe that they are also extraterrestrials, right? These kids that are coming are part of the galactic family. So the term star seed, indigo seed, and crystal seed, or children, are referencing to dimensions. And can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay, guys, we're back. Yeah, so let's keep going. Let's keep going because we're getting heated. All right. So the term star seed is when you can represent what a star represents. And every star in essence is a sun is a star. So explaining when you are at an illuminated state. So everything happens on what we'll call a macro level and a micro level.
Yeah.
So on a micro level, when you were a sperm cell, you were a star seed. All right.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to know what a star seed is on a macro level, which is in the life, a star seed is a being that has the power to illuminate any space they enter. So it's kind of like when you enter a space, you put your head up. You could just feel someone's presence when they come in. Yeah. They are a star seed. They are illuminating. Their light captivates you. Now, there are what we call artificial star seeds, which are basically celebrities, not all of them, but celebrities that are doing things, rituals, or et cetera, to make them appear like they have what we call the shine. What appears to make them feel like they have that spark. And we gravitate and look to that artificial shine and not realizing there's a real shine maybe right next to it. And that artificial shine sometimes is so bright, it can disrupt or make it difficult for you to see those that are real. So a star seed is an illuminated being. It's a being who has the power to light up someone's day, to light up someone's room.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
So it's the same thing on what a sperm cell does when it enters the egg. It kind of lights it up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's the same concept. It's an illuminator. Now,
yeah. So I think that we covered pretty much all the topics for today. And do you have anything else in mind that you want to speak about? Do you have any questions for me or?
Nah, just trying to make sure I have some clarity on the things.
Awesome. Awesome. I follow your YouTube channel and I'm gonna put the link of your YouTube channel in the description of this video. Q is really amazing and he has a lot of great videos on his channel, and I really watch him sometimes, maybe before I go to bed or something like this, and a notification pops up and I just click on it and I just watch your beautiful information, man. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're awesome. You're awesome. And maybe we should meet someday. Who knows? Maybe I'll come to the States, to near Yale.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll show you around.
Yeah. Okay. So no more topics left. Okay.
All right. Well,
all right.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. And guys, if you are new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, leave a comment. And if you want to watch Q stuff, just press the link in the description below. Okay. So yeah. All right. Thank you, man. Bye-bye.